What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share all the above. Hope you guys are having a blessed day with you and your loved ones. Happy Labor Day. We are reacting today to Nick Fuentes responding to Patrick Bet David, the PBD podcast, about not having him on the show. According to PBD, it's because he says the N word, but I believe that having Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel Prime Minister, on a show is a lot worse, especially when he's committing a genocide, killing a lot and starving a lot of innocent children and people over saying the N word. Yeah, people aren't buying that. And Nick Fuentes actually calls him out on it. And we're going to react to PBD responding afterwards about why he isn't going to, because Israel is going to judge him or whatever you call it. But it's ridiculous rebuttal, but we're going to react to both. Hope you guys are having a blessed day. Let's get it started, y'all.
I like Patrick Bet David. I like his crew. I like his show. Show's good. I like his interviews. He talks to Andrew Tate. Very good show with Andrew Tate. Talk to Dan Bilzerian. Great show with Dan Bilzerian. Two friends of mine. They're both great. So I think he's a patriot. I think he loves America. He's we have some disagreements, but he's a pretty conservative guy. I consider him in some ways a fellow traveler on some issues. But he's like refusing to not host me on the show. Now, it's his show. It's his prerogative. But it does constitute a refusal because people are requesting it. The fans are requesting it on my show, on his show. People want to see it.
The fans, and I'm a previous fan of PBD, have lost total respect for him recently because it's almost like every single big podcaster is branded and owned by Israel, and they're concerned about what Israel people are going to think and judge them if they interview someone like Nick Fuentes. Yet they literally have on people like Andrew Tate, Benjamin Netanyahu, Dan Bilzerian, or whatever his last name is, but they won't have on Nick Fuentes, who is literally the #1 trending topic of all politics right now in regards to what's being said, who he's calling out. And for someone to not platform him, I think it's a huge L. And a lot of people are going to change their perspectives of you as an individual.
And the reason it should be said that people want to see it is because it's going to be an interesting conversation. Whatever you want to say about me, good, bad, or ugly, I don't think anyone can dispute I'm an original thinker. I have an interesting perspective, a novel perspective. That's why people want me on their shows. I bring the views. And if you look at the comments section of any show that I've done, especially recently, people love it. I did a show with Sam Hyde, with Bradley Martin. I did a debate with Dinesh D'Souza. And the comments are all positive. And even the people that disagree say, well, it was thought-provoking, to say the least. So people have been asking for this collaboration for a while. People are asking me, when are you going to get on his show? And I say, well, it's his show. You got to ask him. And he says he doesn't want to have me on because I say the N-word. Okay. I don't agree with it. I accept that that's your explanation. But then today he has on the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu. And that's where you got to say, isn't that a double standard? And don't get me wrong, I'm not being obtuse. I'm not being deliberately obtuse. I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to be fair. I tell it like it is. I understand that Netanyahu is a world leader. So there's a different set of expectations that govern that role when you're a world leader. But Netanyahu is credibly accused of a genocide by the International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court. He was charged with war crimes. And by the way, that's not the Palestinians saying that. The same international bodies that charged Netanyahu with war crimes charged Hamas with war crimes. That's the part that gets buried. They say the ICC is politically motivated. They charged Hamas and Netanyahu with war crimes. And many European governments that are pro-Israel have recognized these rulings as legitimate. So it's not just me. There's massive protests inside of Israel right now about Netanyahu's handling of the war.
Yeah, and he was going to be thrown out of office before October 7th. There was literally an election that was coming to Israel, and that exact day, bam, what happens? Election gets canceled due to the Israel getting attacked. Coincidences aren't coincidences anymore. They are planned. That's exactly what they want. They want you to forget about the election, so then you're like, oh yeah, attack these people, so you forget about the hatred of the people who hate the people of Israel. It seems like hate them. I go through the comment sections in a lot of these interviews, including Benjamin Netanyahu, and they despise this man. Like, you can love Israel and despise him, but they despise this guy. Like, it's probably a 90-10 ratio, just hate to love. It's crazy.
They believe he's dragging out the war to prolong his time in office. But of course, why do you have the conversation with somebody like that? Because it's an interesting conversation. It's a big get. It's a big show. It's an interesting interview. But then when it concerns me, I said the N-word. That's the problem. So someone like with Netanyahu, we're going to suspend judgment on the famine, the war crimes, the political assassinations. We're going to suspend the judgment on that for the sake of the interview. But with me, I said nigger on the show. And by the way, let's just be adults. I don't respect adults that say the N-word. Are we babies? Ooh, he said the F word. Mommy, he said the F word. He said the S word. He said the D word. We're all adults here.
Yeah, it is a dumb reason.
I will not be treated in this diminutive way by black people. What you say, cracker? You can't say. You think you could say that?
Yeah, I see all day, every day throughout social platforms, white people getting attacked, called crackers, just getting beat up for being white. But the minute you say one word to one minority, they complain and call you racist, try to cancel you, and end your life. That's not how it goes. It's not a one-way street. If you're going to say something, expect to be told something back. And it's such a victim mentality in today's society.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's
and
a
who's
word.
Gonna tell me I can't? You? Why? Because you're black? I'm a grown-ass man. I'm an American. I can say whatever word I like. I could say any swear word, racial slur. Now, granted, we all recognize it's in poor taste to say these words in and out of context, to say the C word towards a woman, to say the N word towards a black person. We understand this. But to penalize somebody for uttering the word, like I just did, without context, just to say, that's the word you got a problem with. What is the word? Nigger. If I say N-word, I'm just making you say it in your head. You all know the word I'm talking about. So on one side, you've got famine, genocide, ethnic cleansing, political assassinations, evading prosecution, arguably taking power, centralizing power in the executive. And on the other side, you have a white guy that deigned to say a racial slur. And you point this out and you say, okay, you have on Andrew Tate, he said the N-word. You have on the war criminal. Isn't that a bit of an extraordinary standard then that's being applied to me? And I actually asked him this on Twitter today. I said, so your problem with me, because he said this on Twitter, he said, well, you know, he says this word and we want it to be a respectful conversation. I said, you've had on Andrew Tate who says the N-word. And by the way, many of your guests, I'm sure, say it in private too. I just say it in public. I said, and I'm nothing but respectful on other debates or conversations. He says, well, yeah, but Tate is black and you're white. Oh, so because I'm white, I can't say it. Tate can say it because he's half white. I can't say it because I'm 80% white.
It goes back to these people don't believe in free speech. They get triggered over words. It's so ridiculous. But then they overlook actual people committing genocide and killing mass amounts of people. But it's one word. Because you say this one word, we will never platform you or have you on. Could be one of the biggest conversations and videos they ever do on the PBD podcaster. I think they're passing up a huge opportunity just because this one word. Yet they will have on Benjamin Netanyahu, who is literally commanding mass genocide right now on a nation. It's insane way to think of it.
Does that even make sense? And that's even besides the point. Aren't we interested in conversations? As if the restriction is I can't say it on your show, I'll play by the rules. I'm a respectful person. I don't even swear on other people's shows. I try to be respectful, but if that's the reason, it's a little crazy. And then he turns it into, well, you're respectful on shows, but when you react to some shows on your show, then you're intense. Okay, so now it's my reaction off the, what are we doing? And look, you know, I like the guy. If he doesn't want to have me on the show, it's no hard feelings. But I think you lose a lot of credibility. I'm going to give you a little advice. He's giving me advice saying, you know, you're not going to get far using that word. Okay, point taken. And then some.
Also, look how far Nick's came in the past like 6 months. So obviously that statement is incorrect. PBD, hop off. Just let him on. I'm telling you, people would respect you more if you let on Fuentes.
Since I agree with that. I agree with the thrust of what he's saying. My advice to you is if you let something like that get in the way of a good conversation, I think people are going to lose a lot of respect for you. I think you're going to lose a lot of credibility. And I think if you want people to look at your platform as a independent platform that has interesting conversations, that isn't politically correct, you can't have this double standard.
Agree.
And you can't hide anymore. It's 2025. Everyone's on Twitter now. The gates are open. So if you're maintaining this double standard, refusing a guest that is highly demanded, a hot guest that is in high demand over something like that, and it seems like you got this arbitrary standard, I'm telling you, no one's buying it. Everybody's thinking the reason you're not having them on is because it's too controversial and you're afraid of upsetting somebody. That's what everybody's thinking. So look, I mean, I've done a lot of big shows. It would be a big opportunity for me. It's your show, it's your prerogative, but everybody's going to say you lose a lot of credibility when it seems like you're making stuff up like that. And when you're playing games about N-word, I mean, are we not all adults?
Not the guy, Adam. Have you guys heard Adam on the PBD podcast? I don't know his last name is Kosnick, Adam Kosnick. He's huge Israel first person, but he gets triggered almost every time they start talking about Nick Fuentes on their podcast. It's so funny because he used to be this hardcore lib, and now he almost gets triggered every time the Fuentes conversation gets brought into the picture. And it's so funny. So I would love to see them two on the PBD podcast going back and forth, because I know Nick would put him in his place so fast, and I'm here for that.
It's words, it's language. You bring on people that bomb little kids and girls, and you treat them with respect and dignity.
Facts.
Someone that says the N-word, that's beyond the pale. I mean, let's be serious here. So I think it's a little silly, but it's his show. I respect it. It's his show. It's his prerogative. I don't feel entitled to come on his show, but look, you have a show, you have a platform. The expectation is you use the platform to have the most interesting conversations. I'm a hot guest right now. It's in high demand, and you're refusing it, and you're given a reason. Now, if you had said, well, I don't have to tell you my reason, that'd be one thing, but the reason doesn't really make a ton of sense. I think everyone kind of sees that, but it's your call. Aside from that, I got to be honest with you. Netanyahu is clearly hitting the podcast circuit for propaganda purposes. Everybody knows this. It's so obvious. Netanyahu goes on Nelk.
He goes on these platforms who he knows is going to give him a softball interview. People who are in the pockets of Israel first, PBD, for example, or who was the last one? Nelk Boys, who they are. I used to watch Nelk. I love Nelk. I like what they do, but they are in no position to be interviewing people like that. They were way over their heads. They knew that they weren't going to be giving them hard questions, and that's why they signed it up. Netanyahu's only going to do softball interviews that are going to benefit him. I'm waiting for one interviewer to actually be kind of subjective, confrontational, call him out on his bullshit.
He's going on Patrick Bet-David. He's going on other shows. And we all know this is damage control. There was a poll that just came out this week, and it said that for the first time, a poll of the majority of Americans shows that more people in the general audience are sympathetic to Palestine than to Israel.
My take is F both the countries, but we can see what we see. People are dying. Kids are getting starved. They're not getting the essentials that these people need. And Israel is kind of like locking them up in like a 10, 15-minute city, as you call it, and pretty much running them as slaves. And it's sad. No one should be treated like that. I mean, what happened in Iraq back in the day, we'd call it, I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, it is genocide. And the fact that people can overlook it just because they support Israel just blows my mind. We're told that Israel is our number one ally. To me, it looks like Israel controls our politicians to the highest degree, and that we need to call it out. And the more I look into the whole Israel debacle and their hold on our politicians, Epstein, for example, the Mossad, and Trump, who I supported, and his administration defend this, and they keep trying to say that there's no ties to Israel, there's no ties to Mossad or the CIA of Israel, and it's just thinking that we're stupid. Like, we know what we see, and what we see is Israel's hold on, it seems like the whole world almost, in a way. And I'd say they're losing credibility and losing support, Israel, that is, more and more by the day.
That's the whole population. For the first time ever, and it's not surprising, the American population is more sympathetic to Palestine than to Israel. And with the young people, it's even worse. With the younger demographic and even the Republicans, they're more sympathetic to Palestine than the older generations. And so they're in real trouble here. And it's totally deserved, by the way. It's because we see it. We see the numbers. We see the videos. It's all over Twitter. It's all over TikTok. It is a genocide. It is an ethnic cleansing. It is a forced starvation. It is countless women and children dying. It has raged on now for nearly 2 years. It's totally asymmetrical.
Crazy.
This is a nuclear-armed country with the unconditional backing of the world superpower.
Real quick, I want to bring up this situation. So you guys remembered recently Trump was calling out Congo, pretty much committing genocide on white people just because they're white. Yet he says nothing, Trump that is, about Israel committing genocide. Why do you think that is? It's because Israel is our number one ally, as they say, but really just contributor to the politicians on both sides throughout America. They will never talk about Israel, but they have no problem calling out Congo for committing genocide on their own people. It's always a double standard, and it always benefits Israel, it seems like, right?
Using the most advanced fighter jets, the most advanced tanks, drones, munitions, waging a war on a civilian population with no standing army. A population that 40% of them are under the age of 18. With no standing army, no government, no military, no ability even to counterattack. They've got no armor. They've got no planes. They've got nothing. And everyone in the whole world is saying, this is shameful. What is happening in Palestine, this is one of those things that will go down in history. Like apartheid, like the Holocaust, like the Armenian genocide. Whatever you think about these various things, whatever you think about them, this is one of those moments that will go down in history. Again, whatever you think about the truth of these various things I've just listed out, it will go down as one of the most shameful things in contemporary history. And history will recall who supported it and who didn't. And Netanyahu right now is on a podcast tour to justify it and defend it. To the Knelt brothers, to Patrick Bet-David, anybody who will listen, defending the forced starvation, defending the killing of women and children. That's pure evil. And you got to wonder what made Netanyahu feel safe to do that show. Patrick asked him tough questions, but he didn't press on him. Asked him tough questions. He let Netanyahu answer them, but there was no pressing. I think Patrick Bet-David pressed Thomas Rousseau harder. He pressed Dan Bilzerian harder than he pressed Netanyahu.
Of course, because they're anti-Israel.
And you say, well, I'm sure it was a controlled format. Well, then why do you do the interview? You're just doing propaganda for a foreign country. I don't like that. I don't like doing propaganda for a foreign country, especially one that is as detestable as the regime in Israel is right now.
Facts.
It's sick.
I mean, they're the ones that brought us into the Iraq war, if you guys recall. They were the ones saying since the early 90s, oh, they're 3 months away from weapons of mass destruction. And he's still saying that till this day when it comes to Iran. Where's the proof? I still am waiting for that proof, Benjamin Netanyahu. This dude, it seems like he just lies. He just lies and says what he needs to get what he wants. So this is what I believe is the truth on why Patrick Bet-David will not have Nick Fuentes on his platform. As we know, he is an Israel first podcaster, but he responded to Nick Fuentes after he put out that video. Let's see what it says.
So you can't be naive and not realize, oh my God, but look, that person's getting this many more retweets. And they got, what is the word? They got, there's a phrase that if somebody puts a tweet below you and they get more, views. Ratio. They got ratio because of that. Yeah, of course that's going to happen. You think if I'm on that side, I'm not going to put 1 million bots to work? There's places there's businesses for this. But if I have someone on that Israel is furious, like let's just say if I have Nick Fuentes on, you know what Israelis are going to say?
Who cares?
So disappointed in you. I can't believe you sold out. I can't believe you did this. They're going to say those types of things.
Okay? Who cares?
And maybe even try to actually get the interview to be flagged. Okay? Like when we had Tommy Robinson on Minnect, story came out from the Times. I don't know if you have the story, Rob. Type in the Times. The Times could type in Tommy Robinson to Times and Minnect. Okay? So they did a massive story, the Times. Okay? With the story. They came. I don't know if people know this or not. Instagram blocked the Minnect account from being able to run ads for a year because of this Times story. Tommy Robinson charging $20 a minute out of his personal coach to the far right, the self-styled anti-Islam activist. And this is from UK. They reached out directly to Facebook to have this happen to Minnect.
I don't think them people care because people are going to respect you more regardless if it's blocked, banned, whatever you call it. Shadow ban, because you at least put him on the platform to have a civil talk, regardless what side you're on. The more you try to hide and make up excuses, the more weak, the more owned by Israel you looked, and the more less independent as you claim to be you look. So how about you grow a sack, PBD, because I used to have much respect for you up until recently. A lot of these Israel shows have really exposed themselves within the last few months. And it's really opened my eyes because I used to watch PBD regular, used to watch Tucker, Candace regular, and Nick has clowned on all of them and exposed all of them. And it's crazy. It's almost like he triggers every type of person who is Israel first, 1, 2, might have said something back in the day, or it's just out of jealousy, I feel like, especially in regards to Candace, because Candace, she's gone downhill fast since that Nick Fuentes interview. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be doing a few more lives today. Hope you're having a blessed day. Peace. Talk to you guys in a few.